Hi, welcome to the breakout session for the roadway construction, and this covers both the cities of Hampton and the city of Norfolk. My name is Ha Kaler. I am the interim communications manager for the HRBT expansion project, and I'll be here to facilitate the discussion today. We really appreciate you taking the time and attending our virtual open house tonight. I hope the general session was informative. We are, as I said, focused here on the roadway construction. So if you have any questions about the marine or the tunnels or portals, you can go back to hrbtexpansion.org/open house and navigate to any of the other breakout sessions. And you can come and go as you please in order to get all of your questions answered on these particular topics. We thought it might be easier to kind of segment the topics so that we can have the subject matter experts available here to answer your questions. So I'd like to start out the session with an introduction of our expert panel. So we'll start with Igor, and then each of our panelists will introduce themselves.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the virtual session. I'm Igor Zikas, overseeing construction of the landside portion of the project in Hampton and Norfolk, including Willoughby Bay Bridge. Thank you.
Great.
Hi, good evening. I'm Julio Jimenez, project manager of the landside bridges.
Hi, everyone. My name is Angel Crespo. I'm the roadway project manager on the HRBT expansion project.
Good evening. I'm Greg Henyon, and I'm the VDOT Deputy State Construction Engineer.
Good evening. My name is Tim Berry. I'm a consultant to VDOT, and I am a resident construction engineer for the landside work.
Good evening. I'm Josh Gormer. I'm the Deputy Construction Manager for the VDOT team.
Hello, I'm Ross Hudnall with VDOT. I'm the Highway Traffic Noise Specialist.
Great.
Good evening, I'm Ryan Crisp. I'm the Regional Right-of-Way Manager for VDOT.
And I think we just have Lindy. Lindy Turner's on for utilities. So before we get started answering your questions, I just wanted to give you a few guidelines and instructions that will help you navigate getting questions answered. For those video participants, at the bottom of your screen, you should see an icon for chat. Please direct your chat to the moderator, and we'll get to your questions, as many of your questions as we can. For anybody who may be participating via phone, if you would like to submit a question to the panel, please hit *9 on your keypad to raise your hand. And once I call on you, you'll hit *6 to unmute once I call on your phone number. So just to reiterate, please enter your questions in the chat and we'll go through them as soon as they come in. So we'll start kind of at the top. What are the tolls going to be during rush hour?
I'll take this one, I guess. We will have to, currently we don't expect any tolls, but I think at some point in the future, this will have to be looked at again. We're just building the project. We're not part of the tolling operation, so that's something probably would have to be deferred, maybe for a further clarification down the road.
Right. Next question, why not widen 64 all the way to 264 since that road is being improved?
It's a good question. It would add probably another 5 to 6 miles, maybe a little bit more to the project limits, or it would be outside of our project limit. Maybe sometime in the future it's possible, although it's not part of this project as of today. Something probably could be addressed at a different level with the VDOT organization, I would think, since they're technically owning the corridor from current project. project all the way down to 64. So, whereas it's not currently in our contract.
Okay. Why not widen 64 all the way? Oh, sorry, I just did that one. Why does this have to take 4 years? Why so long?
It's you'd be surprised, but it's really not a whole lot of time, considering that 4 years includes not only construction, it also includes part of the design. There's a lot of utility relocations that are ongoing now, but it all takes time and it fits into the project duration. There's a lot of traffic phasing, as most of you guys are aware. We have to build a widening, shift traffic, build another widening, shift traffic again. So it all takes time. It's what it is. Like,
Yeah, and I can
Next
tack onto that. It's, you know, a lot of it is the phasing, and a lot of it is, you know, making sure that as we're building this, that we're, you know, maintaining the through lanes and maintaining access, and not, you know, not severely impacting traffic during construction. So in order to make sure that that phasing, you know, is happening in a way that the through traffic still moving through the corridor, that, you know, the multiple phases adds time to the project as well.
Great. Will the project graphics and plans be available on the website in the future? There's not a lot of information and exactly what is happening at the website, such as why was the project limits reduced from I-664 interchange to Settlers Landing Road?
I'd probably have to defer. I'm not quite sure what website you're referring to, but something we can look into, I think, after the meeting, and possibly update the information if it's not up to speed or not up to date.
How much will the capacity of the tunnel increase with this expansion?
Ooh, does anybody have this data? Tim, do you know? I don't know off the top of my head. I mean, just on the, go ahead.
Oh yeah, so I don't have the actual traffic data, but you know the entire corridor. If you're referring to, you know, how much we're actually expanding, we are adding, you know, 2 additional lanes in each direction for the final configuration throughout the whole entire corridor. So not just the tunnel, but also, you know, from start to finish.
Are there any homes in Willoughby that will be torn down for expansion?
No.
Next question, eastbound at I-564, the widening project seems to be going from 4 lanes to an abrupt 2 lanes. I have not seen a rendering of this area. Is this correct?
Can you repeat the question from 564?
Eastbound at 564, the widening project, the portion that we're widening goes from 4 lanes to an abrupt 2 lanes. I have not seen a rendering of this area, so the question is whether it's correct. The project corridor goes from Settlers Landing Road all the way to the 564 interchange, at which point it goes and turns the corner past Granby Street. And I think that's the corner they're asking about, is whether it extends all the way to where it turns that corner.
I believe so. As you cross over the Little Creek overpass, you would be in the 4-lane configuration, and past the Little Creek, 64 eastbound is in the 4-lane configuration. So I believe it's going to be a 4-lane all the way through Little Creek. I'm not sure if I'm answering the question though. I think we're in the right area, but I think it's going to be 4-lane. I don't believe it's necking down to 2. So it'll be 4 lanes all the way through Little Creek, and then whatever the current extension of 64 in the current configuration is. That's the project limits right in that area.
Are the sound walls going to be moved, expanded, or any work done in the 4th View exit area? My home backs to the westbound wall at 4th View exit westbound.
Ross, would you like to take on that?
Yeah, we've got quite a few barriers that are going to be remain in place, that are existing barriers. 4th View, We can talk offline. I can give you that answer. I don't have that graphic pulled up in front of me.
Yeah, I think if this is from our Richard Sterling, if you want to message me some contact information, then we can reach out to you directly in the near future to discuss your specific question and property, and show you some drawings there that are a little bit more specific to your case.
Yeah, and I'll add a note. The final design noise study should be available on the website later this week, which will include graphics and any barriers that would be relocated.
The next question is, it sounds like the eastbound lanes are the focus for completion first. Can we speak on when the eastbound lanes will be completed by and which exit on eastbound 64 widening begins at?
Looking at the big picture, eastbound widening will start in Hampton and end at 564, give or take, Little Creek overpass. Completion is roughly 2.5 years from now. Again, looking at the big picture, it may change, but that's kind of the target overall. And then we would open up shift traffic to continue to maintain the 2 through lanes all the way through the project, and shift traffic again for additional widening, for the next phase of the widening.
The next question, wondering if you have considered doing reversed traffic lanes on the Mallory Street Bridge, where the right lanes shift to the left. I think that's in each direction.
Have we considered, we will maintain traffic on Mallory Bridge overpass. Have we considered reversible traffic? I don't believe so. But the traffic will be maintained in either direction to the hospital, and the lane maintained in opposite direction towards the Phoebus.
And I'll add that pedestrian access will also be maintained throughout the entire time of construction too.
Correct, yeah.
Great. The next question, VDOT does a weekly email of lane changes, et cetera, for I-64, 264 interchange. Will HRBT give citizen alerts to lane closings, et cetera, during the 4-year period? So I'm going to take that one myself. Yes, absolutely. The project feeds into the district's lane closure reports, and everything is coordinated across the district. And we will send out traffic alerts. VDOT will send out traffic alerts ahead of any closures or impacts to traffic. Anybody want to add anything else?
Just to revisit the previous question regarding the barrier at 4th Street from 4th View to 1st View. That barrier will remain in place and will not be modified.
Terrific. Okay, next question. Will the HRBT expansion project impact the proposed HREL and Hampton Roads Express Lane Network project?
Tim, is that something you want to take on? I'm not sure what the Hampton Roads Express Lane project consists of.
No, I'm sorry, I don't have the answer to that one either.
I can't speak to that. That's something maybe we can take offline and follow up with the.
Yes. When will the sound barriers in Norfolk be started?
Typically, the noise barriers are completed towards the end of the project. After any grading in the right-of-way has been completed and drainage has been solidified. So towards the end of construction, after travel lanes have been completed and grading is done.
Are the various bridge structures already designed or still in design phase, and who would the proper contacts be to look at alternate materials as GFRP reinforcing, currently supplying slurry walls, but bridge decks, barriers, sound, MSEW walls are typical applications?
The design is progressing, close to being done. In regards to the materials that are going into the project, it has something to do and everything to do with technical requirements and specifications. It's something we can discuss offline as between the contract designer and the person who asked the question. If that's something feasible to implement on a project, I can answer the questions, I guess, offline. It's a more of a technical question, so it would take a long time to go over it right now.
All right, terrific. Why such a short time to vote on the sound abatement wall starting at 15th View? Input is due by the end of this week, and most residents aren't even aware of the ballot.
Yeah, only those folks who are benefited by the barriers are sent ballots. They're given 21 days from the initial anticipated date to submit their ballots. If we don't receive 50% of the benefited receptors' responses, we initiate a second round of balloting, which will last another 14 days.
Great. Are construction drawings available to the public?
I was hoping you would take that question, but I'm not sure. I'd have to take this offline, I guess. I'm not sure if we're setting up any kind of like a public visiting center to where they can view plans. Help me out here.
So I'll take a stab at the quick answer, and the quick unsatisfying answer is going to be it depends. Obviously, given the nature of the work, we do have a significant amount of infrastructure that is considered critical infrastructure, and there are some protections on the drawings of those relative to general use and release. So it would depend on what specifically you're wanting to see about the construction drawings as to whether they are things that could be provided upon request.
Mm-hmm. In Norfolk, what will construction hours be when work will be near homes?
Typically, we'll try to follow noise ordinances and City of Norfolk regulations when working on in or around the residences as much as we can.
Great. There was a lot of info presented. Can you share which project areas are already underway and what's next in February?
Out of all the information, we've started clearing and grubbing near Patrol Road towards the southern end of the project, and we started some work near Bay Avenue. Again, it's near the southern end of the project, West Bay Avenue and Patrol Road. So as the project goes on, I think we'll be moving further and further north towards Willoughby Spit and Hampton sometime early spring of this year.
Do you want me to show those slides again, Igor, so people you can reference that more specifically?
Yeah, we can put some graphics in.
Okay.
Yeah, so this is one area that has started the on-ramp on the West Bay Avenue. And as we go along into the spring, the more and more work is going to pick up in this area. And then if you move further down,
Keep going.
do we have a sketch of southern end? Yeah, there should be enough.
Keep going.
Go back to the other schedule.
No, keep going down, I think.
Okay.
I think it's the last page.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, so that area in red that's shown in the sketch, it's hard to see, but it's on the left-hand side of the I-64. That area started work in the previous sketch, Bay Avenue. But as I said, as the project goes on, we're going to be moving up along, starting work up along 64 eastbound in multiple areas.
Right. Does VDOT expect a major traffic issue to occur with the 3 lanes in each direction from Settlers Landing to I-664 with 4 or more lanes on either side? Seems like this will be a major future bottleneck that negates added capacity in Hampton.
That area of the project is outside of the project limits. Our project's up to Settlers Landing, and if Tim or Ross, if you want to chime in on if there's any future plans, I can speak to that. Would have to defer the question to a later time.
Yeah, I think that's more of a question for more of a global VDOT question rather than the project specific folks here.
Okay, next question. How to get to know which construction companies are part of the project? The reason I'm asking is so that we can contact them for providing hotel rooms in Hampton City for the company workers to stay and work on this project.
We can, Malcolm Kate in our, he's our DB and outreach coordinator, and we have a full procurement department. I'm not sure what's the best way to share contact information, but maybe that's something we can post online somewhere after the meeting.
I can jump in on that too, Igor. I know that HamptonRoadsConnector.com is the website for any companies looking to work with HRCP. And so there are ways that you can access information on HamptonRoadsConnector.com again to be able to look at bids and reach out to the project team. All right, next question. I appreciate everyone's time answering our questions. What are some of the technological advancements of the new 64 HRBT corridor will have? Examples like new digital signage, LED lighting, and so forth.
I think you nailed the nail on the head basically with that. Both, yes, LED lighting, additional lane use signals, some of the advanced warning signs, ITS overall. Tim, you can add to it. Probably you may be more involved in ITS, but all of those things that you mentioned are going to be part of the project. Yes, a lot of the DMS boards or digital message sign boards throughout the corridor. Yeah, I think that wraps it up. I think. Yeah.
I think you got it, Igor. And of course, an upgrade with a new tunnel, upgrade to the new systems involved with the tunnel too. But yeah, I think you got it, Igor.
Yeah. Yeah.
Great. Next question is, what type of sound wall will be used over the Hampton River to protect the view shed but mitigate noise?
We'll be using at this point. I don't think it's solidified, but at this point we are looking at an aluminum non-transparent barrier in that area. It's a perforated aluminum. It's absorptive material, rock wool inside, which helps to reduce any sort of reflections or reverberations from that wall.
Can the HRBT expansion.org website add the presented materials from this evening for future reference? I'll take that one, Igor. Yes, absolutely. Following tonight's virtual event, a full recording of the entire event will be available on the HRBT expansion.org website. We'll shoot to have it up there by Monday at the latest. All right, next question. Do the hazardous inspection stations on both ends get moved or redone to provide safer and better access?
Inspection station in Norfolk, it's not necessarily going to be moved, but it's going to be slightly tweaked. Location, access, egress lane, and the lane exiting the inspection station. There'll be, I wouldn't say significant changes, but it's going to be a tweak to comply with current standards. And then the one in Hampton is going to remain fairly in the same location. And again, the additional lane will be provided to enter the station, and then the same for exiting the station with additional signalization. So it's going to be, I guess, upgraded, probably the best way to describe it.
We have a question from a call-in participant. So if if the caller with the last numbers 1957 can hit *6 to unmute, you can ask your question.
My question is on Bayville Street, which is on the west side of 64. There's going to be an off-ramp relocation where there'll be a wall, as my property is right adjacent 4 doors down from the boat ramp.
4 doors down from the boat ramp. Okay. Okay. Will there be a wall on Bayville? Is that
And will there be a traffic light if that is the off ramp? There's so much speeding going on now, just from the new VDOT employees going to the new facility where they're staging. It's hard to get out of my driveway, and so there's more concerns than just now and then in the future.
We're still discussing the configuration of the new off-ramp with the city, but I don't believe the traffic signal is part of those discussions. But that hasn't been fully settled yet, I guess.
Ma'am, are you part of the Willoughby Civic League?
Yeah, and would that be something that would be in the drawing in the future that we could see?
Yes, actually, I'm in direct communications with Mr. Musacchio, and with some concerns from the Civic League, and we're working on answering a lot of the questions, including some of the ones that you have. So that's getting sent back to Mr. Musacchio shortly, and then we'll plan to follow up with your Civic League with any other questions you might have.
All right, thank you.
Yep, absolutely. All right, next question. Will the express lanes, 64 express lanes, continue to allow free access during off-peak hours?
I don't know the answer to that. I'm not sure what the traffic management is going to look like 4 or 5 years from now. If somebody else would like to take the question, we would have to defer at that, but I don't have the answer to that.
Yeah, I think, for more information, there's 64expresslanes.org is the website for that. And I do know that that is managed based on congestion levels from a VDOT standpoint. So hopefully we can get a little bit more details for you on that, but that's outside of the project. It's kind of managed from a greater VDOT standpoint. I understand the current westbound tunnel restricts trucks due to height. So with the new tunnel, I assume the height will be higher to handle modern trucks. Did your studies indicate an increase in truck traffic on the HRBT, shifting traffic from the Monitor Merrimack, which handles high trucks?
Ooh, that's a good one. That's a good question. Height of the existing westbound tunnel. That's something we probably need to defer on. I'm not sure about traffic counts, nor can speak to any changes to the height of the tunnel. It's not part of our scope as a contractor, as HRCP. So
I think that's probably the important distinction. Is it's important to remember the two existing tunnels are going to remain, and they're not changing. So whatever their current restrictions are will not change. Certainly, the new tunnels will be built with taller capacity, but the current ones are not changing.
Next question. I have seen proposed sound wall to be placed west of 15th View ramp. Is there any plan for sound walls to run east beginning at 15th View ramp?
Let's see. Pull up the graphic now for 15th View. Is that correct?
Yes.
Yes, there are barriers proposed in that area near 14th View and extending about 600 feet beyond, I guess, east of Willoughby, along the structure.
Great. We have another question. Will local contractors be able to participate in this project? Is there information who is involved? And as we mentioned before, Hampton Roads Connector Partners has a website, hamptonroadsconnector.com, where you can go and register as a supplier and look at opportunities to work with HRCP. So again, that's hamptonroadsconnector.com. Next question, there is a half-acre lot outside the sound wall just east of westbound 4th View exit. We were told that lot outside the wall was going to be used for some construction use. Is this known? My home backs up to the lot and the exit sound wall.
Lot off of 4th View. Not that I know of. Not that I know of, but if it's outside of the sound wall and westbound, probably not.
Yep, and we did get your contact information, Mr. Sterling, and so we can follow up with you specifically once the team is able to look specifically at that location that you've mentioned. Great. Let me see if I've missed any questions. I think that was kind of the end of the list, but I want to make sure that I didn't jump over any. Oh, here's another one. Can you address traffic flow concerns in general? What's being done to ensure traffic won't be hindered too much during construction?
Like we said, along I-64, the MOT plan or the traffic management plan during construction contains the same lane configuration, more or less. On the city streets, where it's going to be very similar, but the intent is to keep the traffic moving up along I-64 as it is today. Obviously, there is going to be construction zones, but the overall configuration would be pretty much the same to the most extent possible.
Yep, and I will add to that too, as we've said throughout the presentation, VDOT is committed to maintaining 2 lanes of traffic in each direction throughout the life of the project. And I will say that the way that the project is designed helps to reduce the impact to the traveling population.
And then I'll add, it was mentioned earlier that, all of our lane closures, short-term lane closures needed go through our traffic center folks. So that all gets coordinated and deconflicted. And obviously those don't go out during any type of peak traffic hours.
All right, a couple more questions have come in. What will the speed limit be inside of the construction zone?
Same as it is today. We're maintaining the same speed limits. Is going to be unchanged. I believe it's 55 miles an hour.
And then another question is, where can we expect congestion after the project is complete? Example, eastbound out of the South Island Tunnel, eastbound in Hampton on 64. I don't know if we can answer that question after the project is completed. We might have to go back to our traffic engineers to look at if they've done any projections and analyses on that one and get back to you. And like all of the questions and answers, we'll work to get those put up on the website as well. One more question, and I'll also address this one, is can anyone tell me when the 264 Witch Duck Road interchange will be done? Finally, get back to me if y'all don't know. Since it's outside of our project, we can definitely check with that other project team and get those details back to you. I think that is everything. I'm going to make a last call for any other questions and go back through and see if I've missed any. Great. One more question. Can you describe how the HRBT expansion project is going to change the current capacity of the HRBT?
I think it's, as we already said, it's going to basically double with the current road in both eastbound and westbound direction. We're adding 2 lanes in each direction. So just on a simple way to look at it, it's going to theoretically double the capacity, but going from 2 to 4 lanes.
Here's another question about HOV lane. Well, I think it should be will HOV lanes on the left at I-564. I-64 is 2 lanes. Will that go to 4?
HOV lanes. It's depending on which direction you're going, I guess. If you're coming up 564 in HOV lane and heading north, you'll be merging into 4 lane 64. If you're coming back from 564 going another direction on I-64 eastbound, you'll stay in HOV. It's not sure if you're coming from Norfolk, you will have an HOV lane path. If you're coming from Norfolk going to Hampton, you'll have an HOV lane on your left, starting right after 564 interchange. Hopefully that answers the question.
All right, we got a couple more questions. Will all underpasses?
I was able to pull up information on the Witch Duck project. That is scheduled for completion in fall of 2021. I can't speak as to whether they're on schedule or ahead of schedule or behind schedule, but the planned completion is fall of 2021.
Great, thank you, Greg. Next question, will all underpasses provide access 24/7?
For the most part, yeah. Some overpasses have to be during construction when we're setting girders, doing some demolition work. There's a lot of utility work on some of them, so there's going to be some closures, intermittent closures, but for the most part, they're going to remain open.
2 more questions. What will the projected level of service be when the lanes open and again in 2045?
Oof. Tim, you don't have that info.
I don't
you have the level of services. That's something we can follow up after the meeting. We have that information, but it's not available on handout. So.
Okay. And then the last question is for you, Ross. Assuming an overall yes vote, can a given segment be deleted? And I'm assuming that this is talking about sound walls.
I'm sorry, can you repeat that question?
Assuming an overall yes vote, can a given segment be deleted?
If a barrier is voted forward by the community, it'll be recommended for construction. If the community is not in favor of the barrier and there's a clear geographic split, we could always assess partial mitigation. So if the eastern half of the community does not desire noise abatement, we can truncate that barrier. But if the overwhelming majority of the respondents do indicate that they are in favor of the barrier, will be recommended for construction.
All right, great. That concludes our time. I know there are a couple of questions we haven't been able to get to, but we are over our allotted time. I want to thank everybody for coming out to our virtual open house. As I mentioned before, a recording of the entire session will be available on the hrbtexpansion.org website. We really appreciate your interest in the project. We'll work on getting all of the answers to the questions to the website. And just a reminder to stay up to date with the latest on the project, traffic alerts and more information, please go to hrbtexpansion.org and sign up for our monthly newsletter. On behalf of the HRBT expansion team, thank you for joining us and good night.